My name's Paul Fisher. I'm a Canadian veteran, and I want to matter. I served 9.5 years in the Armored Corps, 2 deployments to Afghanistan, and I was injured on the job, and I'd just like to tell you my story. During my service, most of my career was spent in New Brunswick, in Gagetown, Edmonton, or Wainwright, Alberta. Operationally, I served my first tour in Massangar, outside of Kandahar. My second tour was in a camp on the eastern edge of Kabul, inside of an Afghan National Army camp. So we were a camp inside of a camp. Wearing the uniform, it was a family tradition. My grandfathers on both sides served. I had uncles on both sides of my family served. My father served. I swore I would never join. And at age 32, I joined the Army. Coming home from Afghanistan was an eye-opener. Crowds, traffic were terrible. I couldn't go inside of a Walmart. I would sit outside in the parking lot while my partner went in. I couldn't go to stores. I drove recklessly in the manner that we drove overseas. We owned the road overseas, and that was just ingrained in me. My first drive that I drove when I got home, my girlfriend at the time told me to stop the car, and she kicked me out, and she got in the driver's seat. I had to get in the passenger seat because I was driving in the middle of the road aggressively. Before my tours, I was a happy-go-lucky, spontaneous person. Like, growing up, my buddies and I, sitting around, somebody's like, let's go cliff jumping. And, when we lived in Ontario or PEI, and we just all hop in a car and go. Go to concerts, stuff like that. It was just the seat of our pants. Now, I don't like going out. I don't like leaving my house. I don't like going into crowds. I don't like dealing with other people. And it's little things that bother me. Bad driving, slow drivers. It's something that shouldn't bother me, and it does. When it comes to my injuries, my knee injuries started early in my career. I don't believe that they were taken seriously or given the proper medical care that was required. I begged from 2007 to 2014 for an MRI. I was given an MRI upon release, where they found there was significant knee damage in the right knee, which required surgery. My back issues weren't diagnosed by a military doctor. They were diagnosed by a military physiotherapist. And they were my issues were left so long that they affected each other. The knees affected the back, I believe. The back affected the hips, the ankles. It's just, when not treated, one condition will lead to another. And it put me where I am now. The levels of my pain, they'll vary. Like on the old doctor scale of 1 to 10, I'm usually 7-ish. But there are times where my right knee will give out. It will just give out while I'm standing or walking. My back, there's days I get laid up for days. Like, can't get out of bed, like literally urinating in Gatorade bottles because I cannot get up. With responsibilities around the house, yes, my wife helps out. She does a lot. She does way more than she should be doing. But it's just, I feel bad when I can't help out, when I'm laid up due to my knees or back or whatever issue. She is understanding. She keeps me in check. She tells me to slow down all the time. It's just hard sometimes. I don't enjoy things. I can't go on a hike. Small levels of physical activity, even sitting down for extended periods of time, it causes extreme pain. I could be moving normally and then suddenly there's pain. And that's just the physical side. The mental health side, it varies. when the pain is at its roaring, I do not feel good about myself. I feel less than myself. And I feel like a burden. My sleep issues are a big issue for me, because without sleep, the body can't heal. And I've been complaining. I brought this issue up in 2007. Is when it started. 2 to 3 hours of sleep a night for 17 years. I'll get the odd time, my body, every couple weeks, my body will just completely shut down. I'll climb into bed at a ridiculous hour, 4 and 5 in the afternoon. I won't get up till the next morning. You have absolutely no idea how exhausted I am. A good night's sleep without medication, it's all I'm asking for. It's not all I'm asking for, but a good night's sleep with no medication. Haven't had one in, 10 years. When I came home and I started noticing things like not sleeping, and like the pain and everything, I figured the military was gonna take care of me. That's what they were there to do. They were my family. We were brothers and sisters. And Veterans Affairs set up to help the veterans, after anything, really, for any of their needs. And when I came home, I felt abandoned. I didn't feel like part of the family anymore. Even at my regiment, that I was just a guy who's with certain qualifications that they can plug and play. I felt Veterans Affairs, I was a file number. I didn't feel any appreciation or really that they even cared. It was just checking boxes, I think, on their end. It's what it felt like on my side anyway. I contemplated suicide first time in my life, just before a pandemic. And even this past January in 2024, again, I'd been years, I felt good, I was feeling okay, because I felt like I was being looked after, which wasn't the case. And again, suicidal thoughts, no plan to completion, but the thoughts were there again. At first I was treated really well. My first case manager, he came up to Labrador to see me. He retired. Nobody informed me. I actually found out when I had to call in for something. I was informed he'd retired a year prior. My new case manager that I was assigned, I was just a file number to her, I believe. But I don't believe I got the support required from her, because when I got my current new case manager, things started moving. My physical health and my mental health was being looked after in a much more proactive manner. I had access to the resources I needed. And even I had access to resources I wasn't aware that I needed. The perfect outcome for all this for me would be, first of all, for myself to have my needs recognized and dealt with. The issues I don't want to say complaining about for years, but the issues I've been experiencing for years. But the bigger picture is, I don't want anybody else to have to go through this. This is horrible. I feel I have decent coping skills, which maybe prevented me from going off the deep end or doing something extreme, but that's not everybody. It's just so terrible. It's the way it made me feel, the people around me and close to me. I don't want anybody to go through that ever again. When my healing journey is complete, I'd like to help other veterans. There's not a lot of support for the veterans, and they might not know the system. My journey recently has shown me how the system works, the different avenues and paths that I can take. I'd like to pass that information on to others and let them start their healing journeys also. It's been a long time since anybody's actually taken a good listen to my story. If anything I've said has reached through to you, please reach out to your members of parliament, your veterans, the Legion. Make sure the veterans around you or across Canada are taken care of. These people we've sacrificed. We've given up time with our families, with our friends, to do jobs that nobody should have to do and do things that nobody should be asked to do. But please, take care of your veterans. What I think a perfect day for me could look like would be getting up in the morning, having my coffee with the pups, taking them out for a walk on the beach after coffee, and then maybe taking them out somewhere in the afternoon for a hike. I live by a giant park with a lot of waterfalls. I'd like to take them hiking. I'd like to show them more than the yard, the beach, and the dog park. I grew up down east. There's a lot of places I'd like to visit again. But a perfect day, yeah, get up, pain-free after a good night's sleep, have my coffee, hang out with the dogs and the wife for sure, and just be able to go a day pain-free, one day pain-free on a full night's sleep. I think it doesn't matter what I do. Sit at home, go out, wouldn't matter. My name's Paul Fisher. I'm a Canadian veteran, and I want to matter.